I have no clue. No clue what just happened. None whatsoever. I was literally doing a whole show for probably the last 25 minutes by myself, and I'm looking at the chat, and I'm like, man, there's nobody in there. I see Trace, and then I see like 17 people in there that, you know, said I didn't shut them out of the previous show. I didn't, you know, stop it, but I did. And so I'm still just doing the whole show. I'm just going through it. I'm running through everything. We've already done the stats. We've done 2 videos. I'm about ready to take phone calls, and then Brandy Coffee calls me and texts me, hey, is everything okay? And I'm like, Brandy, is that my sister? Has she got a new number? No, Brandy Coffee. Apparently, the stream that I just started didn't start. I don't know, but it's recorded. I've got the whole damn thing. Very weird. Very, very weird. So now that I've done all that, and I'll never be able to do it the same. Very interesting day from your Lions. Very interesting day. So both quarterbacks obviously they started a little bit slow today. Obviously, only one of them played fairly well, which was Kyle Allen. I don't think that there's any surprise, you know, that Kyle Allen is now our number 2. I don't think that there's the shadow, no doubt at all, period. But before I go any further, I don't see anything on the Lions site about a live stream post game. Nothing set up. Did you guys see anything? I don't see anything set up for today at all. Is it going to be aired somewhere else, I guess is the question. Every year it's always been on YouTube. As soon as the game was over, you know, within 20, 30 minutes, they're doing the thing. This year it's been on Fox, and I don't have that up. So I just want to make sure that you guys didn't see anything that I haven't, because I haven't seen anything. Like, if they made a change into something, then, you know, don't you think that they would tell everybody, or am I the only idiot that doesn't know?
So really, it's about, okay, well, what can the next guy do? Well,
and I see Dan that's live on Fox 2 right now.
You need to go over there then. All right, you become safety.
Why are they doing this?
Kind of your get us out of trouble there. But yeah, we wanted to get a good look at all of those guys, and you know, we didn't have a ton of them, so we wanted to make sure we tried to roll them through and keep them somewhat fresh, but give them good looks. And you know, look, man, we played a lot of man today. You know, we played a lot of man, so those guys were in you know, it's good, but it also, man, it's taxing. You know, it's taxing on that group back there to do that play after play. But I thought, man, we got our hands on some balls. We didn't finish on them, but we did. You know, I thought they were competitive and pretty sticky for the most part.
You had a few instances where there were almost turnovers, a couple of points.
Obviously, we're going to do this. We'll listen to Dan. I didn't see the whole beginning of this, so we're just going to roll it.
Fumbles, weren't quite able to get those. How do you work on that? Is it working on sudden change, or just is it luck?
No, I was fired up because that was a point of emphasis this week, was, man, getting balls on the ground, getting balls out. Now, we didn't come up with them, but they're hitting the turf. And that's how you do it. And then you get them on the turf, the ball will start bouncing our way. It's the hard part's getting them out. So, I mean, with my eyes alone, I saw 4 on the turf. We didn't get them, but I saw them, and we had an opportunity to. So that we had another 2 that I saw on the back end. You guys were talking about that we had our hands on. We didn't, you know, we weren't able to finish on the interception, but I'm like, theoretically, we could have had 6 turnovers today. That's good. That's a step in the right direction. So that was encouraging.
Yeah, Tesla, another nice catch.
Yeah.
Is he just showing more and more of the same, or is he still finding more in your eyes?
No, I would say he continues to grow. You know, you asked about Meeks. Meeks is grown every day, every competitive setting. He's just taken a step up, and Tesla is the same way. Tesla is just continuing to grow and get more comfortable. He's getting more confident, and he's making more plays. And, you know, I bring this up. Every time those happen, you gain trust in those players. You know, you gain trust. So every time he makes a play, and he makes a play in a critical, whether it's in practice or it's out here, you begin to, okay, that's money in the bank. And that's good for us because at some point we're going to need to use him this year. He's going to have to help us on special teams and on offense. So that's encouraging.
So he was just talking about Jackson Meeks there in saying that he's going to have to help us on special teams and on offense. So I believe he was talking about Jackson Meeks. Am I right there? That's what he was saying, correct? Which tells you where Jackson Meeks now is on this roster. I've got a sneaking suspicion that if the Lions are trying to roll with Fox 2 now live after every game, and they're trying to do this live for everybody as opposed to YouTube, there's a little bit of a move here, because if I'm showing something live on YouTube, I can get a YouTube hit for that, right? They can shut it down. It can shut the stream down. And the Lions may be trying to dictate who can do media, right? If you're an independent media person, you can't show live post-game shows anymore from Dan. However, the fact that it's news, right, that should help us utilize the laws that are surrounded, by the ability to use this stuff, because we're commenting on it. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do this season. We'll see. I'm just hoping that I get my damn credentials sooner rather than later, so I don't have to worry about it. But anyway, let's keep rolling.
All right, so there's Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Our post-game show rolls on. Lions fall to the Dolphins 24-17. Key points in there. The two rookie wide receivers that we talked about before he came out, Isaac Tesla and then Jackson Meeks. Both of them score a touchdown today. Both of them, in his words, continue to make plays. And as he said, look, we know.
So like I said, I'm highly confused as to what they're doing, because I love the fact that they've got this post-game show with Dan Miller and Lomas Brown. I've never watched Fox 2 because I don't live in Detroit. If that's something that they've been doing, man, I've missed. I've always watched Lomas Brown afterwards with Danny, and then they do the post-game thing. It goes up on YouTube. So it's all new to me. You guys tell me, is this something that you've always seen every year if you've watched Fox 2? I've always just watched it on YouTube right after. Go straight to the Lions. Watch YouTube. That's it. And then we started doing this. It's new. Yeah, it is new. What are we looking at, Nick? Ahmed's down for a minute, no more in the morning. So that means that there's going to be obviously some imaging done. Yeah, I still don't see anything live post-game here for the Detroit Lions. All I see is media sessions. Press conferences. I don't see anything lined up for the Lions. So I'm not real sure what's going on here. I'm not real sure what's going on or what the changes are. Yeah, hopefully the Fox 2 thing is just preseason. See, I wouldn't know. I would not know. I would not know. Yeah, so for Ahmed, like I said, I was doing a whole show by myself for about 25 minutes. And I'm like ready to go to bed at this point. So hold on here. Let me pull it back in, because I do have some videos that I wanted to show you guys. And then we'll get into the full breakdown, okay? We'll do it again. That's not what I wanted to show, is it? Yeah, this one's on Ahmed. Let me get rid of the window first. All right, let me pause this. I'm gonna rewind it. Here's what I want to tell you up front. So Ahmed Hassan is up at the top left of your screen on the left defensive end of this side of the defense. The right side on the offense, the right tight end, the one that is lined up behind the tackle there, he is the one that is going to make this contact with Ahmed Hassan on his left side, and then that is going to cause the tackle to roll up on Ahmed. And if you can see closely that Ahmed, when he starts to come up and turn off the ground, he immediately holds his arm in an angle like he's got a shoulder injury or he's got a rib injury. That's what it looked like to me. And here we go. I slowed it down for you a couple of times, so I'll stop and start. But you see that contact, man. I mean, just an aggressive. I mean, that's a super aggressive blindside, in my opinion. I almost feel like that's a blindside block. And when he starts to come up right here, he looks to the sideline, right there. Bang. If you can't see my cursor because I don't have it, I don't know why it's not working. But you can see his white glove is tucked in. Just a nasty hit. Now, when you look at the way this happens, right, you would think that all of this would come down on the left side of the body, but it's his right side of the body that hits first. So his shoulder could be on the ground at this point, and then you got this big 320-pound tackle that is about to land on you, and he put all of his weight on Ahmed. He didn't try to even get off of him or anything. So it doesn't look good. I'm just hoping that he's bruised up. He'll be out for a couple weeks, and maybe he'll be back sooner rather than later. Obviously, Ahmed holds a special place in our heart. Number one, because his brother Corey was so gracious to come on the channel for a few weeks. And number two, man, this is the first Egyptian football player that has ever played. We want to see him do well, and he's going to be a big part of this team moving forward. He's shown the tenacity and the grit and the ability to play the position. So he's young. He's got a long way to go, but he's already been showing that he can play the game, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm just hoping that it's not as bad as what it looks like, because there's 2 or 3 different things that are going on there. You've got elbow, you've got ribs, and you've got shoulder, and I think it's one of those 3 things. I do not believe it's a torn pec, and the only reason why I say that is I didn't see him grab with his right arm, and I didn't see his right arm get pulled away. And unless he was trying to flip the guy over him, and then he forced all of that, that weight right here when he was trying to flip him, and it just went the other way, and it ripped, right? Tore. That's the only way I think it could have happened, with that move. But we'll see, man. It's not a good angle. It's not a good way to go down at all. I've got a few other ones. Let me get a couple lined up. I want to show you guys some things on Isaac Uku here. And the bull rush by Cooper. I'm really excited about Cooper. So if it's not going to happen, but if Ahmed Hassan is down for a little bit and it leaks into the regular season, I think that this just paved the way for Cooper to have an opportunity on this team. Okay, so this next one is the sack. All right, here we go. Take a look at the screen. All right, pause right there. So where's my roster at? I'm still getting all these numbers confused. Actually, I'll just let it play for a couple of times, and I'll talk about it. What is the one thing I've been telling you all this year? If you've been subscribed to the channel, you've been listening for quite a while, the things we talk about in the morning show and some of the things that I've been talking about a lot lately is that the Detroit Lions are going to emphasize, they're going to put a large display on their linebackers this year. The running lanes the linebacker lanes have been open. I feel like, more of the blitz packages are coming from the linebackers. As opposed to just sending 1 or 2 guys here or there, I think that we're going to see a little bit more of this. It wasn't quite a zero blitz, but we pretty much sent just about everybody. Now I'm going to pause it and kind of show you what I think happened here. Number one, you've got Mitchell Agudhi down on the right side off the edge, number 50 right here. Right, number 50. He gets good penetration. He's going to get to this tackle, and when he starts to get upfield, then Pittman releases out of the backfield. You see here, Pittman releases out of the linebacker. So Pittman is right now, he's over top of Agudhi. I wish my cursor was working. I wish my pen was up. So Good fires, bang, Pittman follows right behind him. Right? And then when he follows right behind him, 45 breaks off. He breaks off the block, which is Ukwu. And then they both get after the quarterback. Ukwu gets there first. So I don't care, man. It was Pittman, it was Ukwu, and it was Agudi. Someone was getting home on this play. This was a beautiful dial-up of some pressure here. And then during the live stream, someone made a very good comment. We're getting too much pressure, too little coverage. They were able to dink and dunk the football way too much on us. And this is partially the reason why. When you're sending that much pressure all the time, that is the one downfall to sending your linebackers, is that you're going to end up letting up, some big things with your tight ends. Oh, I just got some picks that just came in. You're going to end up letting some things up with your tight ends. All right, so I've got some images here that I'm not going to be able to put up right away. I'll do a video. Ahmed Hassan's injury photos, or I've got some photos. And you can see that he's doing some arm flexion, trying to squeeze his hand like this. He's trying to squeeze his hand. So that could be an upper body injury, could be a nerve. It could be the shoulder. So it's looking less and less to ribs and elbow. It could be elbow. It could be the ulnar nerve. I know that nerve all too well. I hate it. My hands go numb all day. So anyway, not good, but we got some good pictures I'll put in the video when I actually do the video breakdown of Ahmed Hassan. Next up, let me get this next one going for you. And then I'll jump into the chat. I need to find Cooper. Where's Cooper? Coop. Man, where'd you go? Here we go. This should be it. Okay, now this one's nothing sexy, right? I mean, it's not a crazy play, but what it is it shows Keith Cooper's ability to penetrate. Okay, so Cooper's going to be down on the right side. Did you miss it? Did you see it? So Cooper's number 64. I had to look at my sheet again. All right, so I'm going to pause right now. I love this move by Keith Cooper. Look at this pull and push move that he does. So he is lined up as a, looks like 3 tech. I can't really tell if he's over under the tackle, but it looks like he's in the 3 tech. So he is on the inside of number 50, and number 50 is Mitchell Agudi. So he's on the inside here in the bottom towards the bottom of your screen, third guy in from the line. But he will grab, bang, grabs, and he does this push pull. You see that? Oh, I love it. He's using strength. Grab, push, pull, and you watch him just get around him and bull. Watch this. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. That is a veteran move. This dude's playing chess, man. He knows what he's doing. I'm loving this work out of Keith Cooper. Good job. Like I said, it wasn't going to be anything crazy sexy, right? No sack, obviously, for all of you sack lovers out there. But we're talking veteran moves, man. We're talking a very young guy that's getting some opportunity with the Detroit Lions right now, and he's making the best of it. He absolutely is. And the fact that he knows some moves like this and he's able to utilize them in a live game, against other NFL players, some rooks, some not, that should just make you all the more excited about where he's headed as far as, becoming a good football player at this level. Nick P says Keith Cooper's filling the Levi role. Could be. I mean, right now, Keith, I would say you're right. with Levi out, I mean, Levi was more of the twinkle toes of the defensive tackles when he wanted to be. I mean, he had a lot of good action in his feet, and Keith does too. I think that Levi is leaving a giant hole for the Lions right now. And Keith Cooper is potentially filling that hole. When I look at I'm going to do a 53-man update while we're live tonight too. I've already done all this twice tonight, by the way. I didn't go through all the stats. You guys can look at the stats. Well, what I will tell you is I'll go through my player of the day and all that good stuff. What we are seeing a defensive line that is really deep. And when I say deep, I mean, we've got DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, Broderick Martin, but Broderick Martin's actually going to be moved out a little bit now. Tyleek Williams, Pat O'Connor. Pat O'Connor very early in the first quarter, it might have been the first play. I mean, he had a badass bull rush. He pushed that dude so far back, it looked like he was the only one playing football. It was that out of... It was weird almost because he was the only one pushing a guy all the way back. Then you got Marcus Davenport, Ahmed Hassan, who's banged up right now. So at worst case, Ahmed Hassan, maybe he goes down for a little bit if he needs to, and Keith Cooper makes this roster. I still don't expect Keith Cooper to get a ton of action, especially early. But if you have to put somebody like Ahmed down for a little bit, well, now you get an extended look at Keith Cooper. Right? And that way you don't have to lose him. But that's a really, really deep defensive line. And then you've got Mitchell Agood, El-Quadin Muhammad, Aiden Hutchinson, Nate Lynn, Chris Smith. I mean, these guys are loaded. They're loaded. And so for all of the people that were hating on Brad, and hating on this, this Detroit Lions defensive line, you're going to think twice when the season rolls around. You're gonna start to think twice and thank Brad for how much he has given us. I know it's not the big flashy name, right? You're not throwing a big shiny silver, fishing hook out there trying to catch, a big old schnook or tarpon, but it's flashy come game time. I don't care about the name. I don't care about the size of the paycheck, right? I care about the size of the dog and the size of the fight in that dog. And this team is loaded with dogs. It really is, that want to play football the right way. And that's Dan Campbell's way. And Dan Campbell's way so far has been a winner. So I'm super excited about that. Nick P says Chris Smith was pushing the pocket back often. I missed Chris. I was probably moving on to a different position. I'm glad that you noticed that. Because I have high praise for Chris Smith too. I think he's had a good camp. I think he's had a really good camp. Who had a bad game, Peter? Well, let's get into that right now. So let's do this right now. I'll ask everybody in the chat one of the first questions tonight. I'm sure you guys have already asked me a few things in here that I've already missed, partly because I was by myself for a while, but we won't tell anybody that. Who was the biggest standout for you tonight on offense? And I'm going to ask you the same person or the same question for defense. I'm going to make it just a singular Q&A. Who was your player of the game? This one was not known early for me on the offensive side of the football because it started to really come alive later in the game. Now, Kyle Allen is not my player of the game, but a guy he was throwing to is. I'm trying to close some stuff here. Guy he was throwing to is Jackson Meeks. So like I said, I'm going to do an updated 53-man roster tonight, and Jackson Meeks he's now jumped a spot. And it's the last spot on this roster. If the Lions are going to indeed keep 6 wide receivers this year, which I think there's a good opportunity for it. I'm not positive that it would happen, but I think there's a good opportunity. Jackson Meeks stole the show tonight. He was consistent. He was running good, clean routes. He was finding good separation. And 7 catches for 93 yards and a TD. He had a really good game. Like, that's a really good game. No, it does not mean that Zadarius Smith is going to sign when Jackson Meeks makes this team. That's not part of the deal. But really good game. Now, I would say, Isaac Tesla, I mean, obviously he had a really good game. Or Sione Vaki had a really good game. Those guys had exceptional games. Tesla has shown me things every week. Every time I've seen him in practice, the guy is the most natural hands catcher I have seen in a long time. And that benefits you in so many ways as a receiver, but most importantly, that you're keeping the ball away from what our DBs did tonight to the Dolphins. All those pass breakups, all those defense passes is because you're catching the ball inside your chest cavity, right? You're catching it inside your chest instead of having the hands out away from the DB where they can't make a play. Now, bringing the ball into your chest, right, or down to a load position, that's a different story. You've got to have strength to do that still after the catch, and Tesla does. But Jackson Meeks, he put himself in a position to win tonight, and he was accepting nothing but yes for an answer when that ball was coming his way. He had 8 targets, 7 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. So really good game for Jackson Meeks tonight.
Yeah, welcome to the Lions Den.
Welcome to the Lions Den, Jackson, because you are now on the 53-man roster. Second and third team for me tonight, and I don't mean second and third team on the depth chart, but second and third best players on the offense tonight. Kyle Allen had a good game. It wasn't the best game in the beginning, but 14 of 17 for 124 yards, 2 TDs, only took 1 sack, and another game with 138 something passer rating. That's a really good game for Kyle. Back-to-back good games. Sione Vaki, man. The guy was returning kicks. He was a gunner on a kick, breaking up, causing a fumble, and then in the run game, he was getting 6 a clip. So Sione Vaki, man, those are my top 3 guys tonight, outside of Craig Reynolds. Right, Craig Reynolds, had those penalties not been called, and again, I do not believe those penalties had anything to do with Craig Reynolds' run. Craig Reynolds had a phenomenal night tonight. He definitely showed why he belongs on this team. And I think that Sione Vaki is either has or is real close to being the 3rd running back on this roster. He's really close. And the only reason why I say that is because Craig is not a gunner on kick team, and he's not back there returning kicks. But Sione Vaki is. And so that when you can do more than just one thing, like Dan always says or Brad always says, you're going to do well for this team. Outside of that, I mean, there were some other guys on the offense that had a decent game. I think Dominic Lovett finally started to play a little bit better. He had a nice awareness play on the muff punt, but it's just not enough. He had a bad practice when I was there on Thursday, and then he had a bad game today. So that's my offensive player of the game is Jackson Meeks, Sione Vaki, runner-up, Kyle Allen, runner-up. On the defensive side of the football, Michael Lukes, hey, good to see you in here tonight. David Lyons in the house. Oh, you guys had Meeks and Tesla. Meeks. I think I want to get me a Meeks jersey if he makes the roster, man. I just like that last name, Meeks. Josh Jackson says Brock Hewers. Yeah, he doesn't play for the Lions, but I wish he would have. I wish, I'm still mad at Brad that he didn't grab a quarterback now. Everyone's got Meeks in here. I love it. Meeks and Tesla. Meeks is a keeper. Let's see here. Keith Cooper filling. Okay, so I'm caught up, I think. Grant Stewart did okay on the defensive side of the football. I don't think it was his best game. I mean, the guy's everywhere, right? He's always making plays. And I love that about him. But what I saw tonight out of Keith Cooper and Ukwu and Mitchell Agudi, I mean, all of those guys had a good game tonight. I was extremely impressed tonight by the fact that we just signed some guys. Literally just signed some guys. Let me get my notes back up so I can actually tell you the truth on this. We literally just signed some DBs. And let me get down to my notes. Okay. Alan George was signed on Thursday when I showed up to practice. He was signing his deal. Luke Barco and DJ Miller were signed in the week, right? Tyson Russell, he's fairly newer to the team. I'm not sure when we brought him in, but it was not a long time ago. And all of those guys were making some plays tonight. Matter of fact, Allen had a pass breakup. Cunningham had a pass breakup. Eric Hallett had a really good game tonight, 3 pass breakups. Luke Barco threw in a couple pass breakups, and then DJ Miller threw in a couple of pass breakups, and then Nick Whiteside threw in a pass breakup. 10 pass breakups for your Detroit Lions tonight. That's really, really solid night out of some guys that have been around the team for a few days. That's pretty solid stuff. Unfortunately, the DB room's kind of full, right? So these are going to be some good practice squad guys. I would agree with you, Wickster, that I think our secondary had some problems at times. They were, getting their hand on the football, but then they were also getting mixed up quite a bit. And I'll go back to one of the earlier statements, which someone else in the chat was mentioning during the game too, that when we're leveraging too much pressure and utilizing our linebackers, as often as we are, your DBs are going to have to be sticky. They're going to have to play really good man. And if I heard Dan Campbell tonight in the brief moment that we heard on Fox 2, it was this. They put him in man all night tonight for the most part. A lot of man defense. And I love it because it's not about wins or losses right now. It's putting your guys in situations to know what you have, right? When you put a bowl of raw meat, 20 feet away from your dog, and then you tell him to sit, and then you leave the room, right? You're trying to learn what that dog is all about. Is he going to listen to you? Or is he going to listen to his stomach and his eyes, right? Same thing that Dan is trying to do tonight. He is trying to put that meat out there so that you have to go play your game, and I need to see if I can trust you. That's what he's doing. And that's what he did. And these guys did show up. However, that same style of play with our number ones, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, they're going to be able to handle it. You're talking guys that aren't ready to start on a team. You're talking guys that may not even make a roster that are out there. And so I'm less concerned from that standpoint about the mistakes. But the guys did play great. They did play great for the most part. Hallett had a really great night. And, just last week, it was in practice. I was watching him on Thursday, and he was running. They were doing a drill, and he was running downfield, and he caught a pass over his outside shoulder. They were doing interception drills. And he had some really good plays. And he made a couple really good plays in practice. But then he had some bonehead plays. And I was like, man, I don't know about Hallett. I haven't trusted him yet. But he's starting to grow on me a little bit. And he's starting to look better. I just don't know where he's going to end up other than a practice squad. And if he's playing this good, someone's probably going to try to snake him. So defensively tonight, who was your number one guy? Who had the best game overall? Let me run down some of the stats, and let's see if that helps you make a decision. Ezekiel Turner, he turned in 9 tackles tonight and a TFL. Anthony Pittman had 6 tackles, 5 of which were solo. Nick Whiteside, DB, had 5. Nick Whiteside. Yeah, he was playing corner tonight. Nick Whiteside had 5 tackles, 4 solo, and a PBU. Nate Lynn, 5 tackles, 1 solo, so he was on a lot of combo tackles. Grant Stewart, 4 for 4, man. He's a man on a solo mission. He makes really good effort plays. He's a hustler. He's side to side, sideline to sideline. And the thing that I love about Grant Stewart the most is, if you do get a pass on him and he does catch the football, Grant drops him right where he catches the ball. There's like no yak happening. and he's trying to pop the ball out the entire time. That's what I love about Grant Stewart. The fact that he's our fourth linebacker right now is nuts to me, the way this guy can play. The thing that I'm worried about with Grant Stewart, to a degree, is Khalif Raymond. Let me give you some thoughts here. I'm gonna do a video on it later. Yeah, I saw that Nick P about Nick Scorton, man. That really blows. I'm gonna text him here in a little bit. Khalif Raymond, he's an all-pro punt returner, right? The guy had a couple amazing seasons. Then he got hurt. Was it last year, right? He was hurt most of last year. When you have a guy like Sione Vaki that can return kicks, a linebacker like Grant Stewart that can return kicks, you've got a few receivers that can return kicks. I'm sure we have a couple of DBs that can return kicks. But they have put an emphasis on Grant Stewart and now Sione Vaki. Is that going to edge out a guy like Khalif Raymond? If you're trying... This is how I'm trying to make it work on this roster for receivers. But are you going to edge Khalif Raymond out and keep Jackson Meeks because you have Sione Vaki and Grant Stewart that can return kicks? Question is, who's going to be the punt returner? Right? That's the question. There's not a better hustle guy, a gritty guy, you know, a get after it guy than there is in Khalif Raymond. I love Raymond, man. I think he's a hell of a football player. He's all about Detroit. But it becomes the question is, do you have too many jackknifes where you can get rid of, you know, a player that can't do as much or at an area of need, right? This is what Brad's going to have to go through in a couple of weeks. We have an area of need, and then we also have an area that maybe we'd like to keep a couple extra guys. And how do we do that? Well, if this guy can return kicks and this guy can return kicks, and both those guys can be H-backs, do we need a shorter wide receiver that primarily is just used in the punt return game? It's a tough question, isn't it? It's a tough question. Those are hard questions that the GM has to answer. Sticking with the defensive side of the football here. We had the one sack tonight by Isaac Ukwu. A lot of linebacker action tonight. Guys getting after it. I can't wait to go back and watch some of this tape. But on the defensive side of the football, I have to give, just from the linebacker play alone, I did not like Ezekiel Turner. He had a bunch of tackles tonight, and I think he played pretty well. Anthony Pittman had a bunch of tackles tonight, and I think he played pretty well. But for me, man, I just can't discredit the way. I can't discredit the way that Zach Cunningham plays or Miles Adams plays or Al Quddin, plays. Isaac Ukwu had one of the best hustle plays I've seen all season so far. I mean, just pure hustle, pure speed. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But every play that Keith Cooper was in tonight, I really thought that he showed up. He didn't show up in the stat lines, but I think that he really showed up, if that makes sense. There was a couple of other plays tonight, like Broderick Martin. I don't even know how many snaps he got, honestly. I don't even know if he played, to be honest with you. I'm sure he did. I'm sure we talked about him, but that's how uneventful it was for me, for Broderick. But I have to give it to these guys, man. They did their best. Hooker let him down, man. He couldn't move the ball, and when he started to move the ball, he made a bad decision. So I think the defense did enough. They were just left on the field too much. And that's the last part, I think, of the breakdown is why did the defense have some mental lapses? Why did the defense have some issues in areas? Well, when you turn the ball over, right? When you have 3 and out consistently and 13 penalties, you're going to have problems. And the defense is going to be left on the field. So for that reason, I think the defense did as good as they could. right? When they're consistently left on the field. Too many penalties, man. Just way too many penalties. Way too many penalties. I see a lot of you disagree on the Raymond. Just remember what I said, though. It's just conversation. It's just what would you do type of conversation, right? What would you do if you had to make a decision? Manu did not look good. And I think that Peter Van Larhoven asked that question earlier. Who looked really bad tonight? Manu did not look good at all. He did not look good, and I get it. It's his only his second season. It's really his first full season. He's got a lot of work to do. He had a couple of good practices, and then he had a couple of bad practices. He had a decent game last week against Atlanta, and tonight there was some plays where he was just totally beat, like instantly beat. Like didn't even try, it looked like, but his feet were just not moving well tonight. Now I have to get into the tape, right? Which we won't get through, pro football anymore. We got to wait till the season starts, but I have to go back and watch NFL Plus and clip it up. But I think that Manu has a long way to go this year. He has a long way to go to ever be a starter. As far as a backup goes, I think he's okay in emergencies. Jamarco Jones tonight, I think, played pretty well on the left side. Jamarco Jones, his feet were out first and fast. He was getting in front of the tackles. He was making a very good concerted effort to keep Allen clean, and he did a really good job at that. I think that Jamarco Jones played really well. Jamarco Jones just leapfrogged, I think, onto this roster potentially. He's always been on my roster, but I think he's ahead. I think he's ahead of Giovanni Manu. I don't think that we can keep Manu on the practice squad. I think someone will take him, and that's the hard part, right? That's the tough part of it is. Okay, let me back up. I'm going to do a deep video on the practice squad and the 53-man roster. It usually comes after the last preseason game when we were doing it live and I would talk about it. Now I'm going to start doing videos because I want records of it. The thing that concerns me about practice squad players, and I said this the other night, is you only have 10 guys on the roster that are 3 years of or 2 years of experience or less, right? 2 years of experience or less. 6 guys can be vets. And out of all of those guys, 4 guys you can protect, right? So 4 plus 6 is 10. That means 6 guys on your roster, on your practice squad, they can be poached at any point in time because they are younger than 2 years, right? They can be poached. So the vets that you bring on and keep on the practice squad, those are guys that you genuinely are going to have a handshake deal with. That's what I call it. It's a handshake deal. And that deal is very simple. Look, I want to play for your team, and I like being here. So I don't have to sign with anybody else. You don't have to worry about me signing with anybody else. This is where I want to be. I want to win with this team. Okay, cool. We're going to keep you on the vet squad. And you're going to end up being needed at some point, most likely, because someone's going to get hurt, and you're going to get a shot to play. So those are the 6 guys that will stay on your roster that you don't have to worry about protecting, as your vets. And unless your season is totally derailed, right, and you're not going anywhere, then at that point, hey, you might go somewhere else, you might not. Who knows? But that's also the big conversation that we had the other night with Wickster, and the reason why we did the premiere on the Zadarius Smith and the 53-man roster and the implications and the salary cap and all that, because a lot of people think it's just so easy to bring a guy in just because they were on the roster last year, and you still have all these players that you have to bring back, like Aleem McNeil, Mekhi Wingo, Josh Paschal, Malcolm Rodriguez, Khalil Dorsey, Morris Norris, Miles Frazier. That's 7 guys that we still have to bring back. And our roster is so loaded already, you don't have 7 holes. You can add 4 upgrades easy, right? But then those players have to start dropping out to the practice squad. How are you going to protect them? How are you going to keep them? That's the question that has to be answered. Art Vandalay, so the injury is unknown, but the video that I did, if you go back a little bit and watch the video during this show, I recorded some video and showed you guys what we see. And then I've got some pictures here that were sent in from the game. And it appears that it's a right arm injury, and it appears to be either right elbow, right wrist. It doesn't look like ribs like I was initially thinking. It does not look like shoulder. It appears to be right arm related. So it could be wrist, it could be elbow. But when I see him looking at his hand in this picture and looks like he's trying to do this like a squeeze test, or if anything is numb there, that could be like the ulnar nerve entrapment or, pinch. If the way he landed on his elbow there, maybe it pinched something. I've had that happen a couple of times. It's not fun. The funny bone ain't funny, man, especially when it gets really pinched, right? And it's damaged. Then it's not funny. Because like every time I answer my phone, if I use my left hand goes numb in like 3 seconds. My right hand does too, but that's also because I got neck injuries. But it's all part of it. What position has the highest attrition rate? What do you mean by that, U of M, Dad? Are you saying for our roster, or are you saying overall in the NFL? Because I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Carol, I don't know who put that out there. I don't know who put that out there, but it doesn't seem like it would make sense. I mean, not all 3 for sure. They're just guessing at all 3, just kind of like I'm guessing at either wrist, elbow, or shoulder. But I don't know why they'd be doing a squeeze test if it was a pec. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a pec. We'll find out. We'll find out. I mean, his shoulder does look lower, and it could just be the way that he's standing. But if it's a separated shoulder, then that's a problem. Then he's going to be out for a while. I think it's just the way he's standing. I don't know. We'll see. You would know better than us, though, Carol. You would know better than us. Yeah, I would say DB. DB is probably the highest attrition rate in the NFL. And then after that would probably be running backs. I think we lose a ton of running backs every year. For our team, defense last year, all of them, all the positions, they're all the biggest attrition rate last season. All of them, except for DB, which is it's weird, isn't it? How DB is like one of the biggest positions that loses the most players. And yet we kept the majority of ours until like the tail end. We lost Carlton and then we lost Meek. That's weird. We lost everybody else, but we kept our DBs. That's nutty. All right, not much of a post-game show tonight, just kind of talking about some stuff. We did a little bit of a breakdown here on some stats, and now it's time to bring in the 53-man. I'll do this again later with a full breakdown because I got to do a little bit deeper dive, but I do want to make a couple of changes. I do. We always do the post-game 53 after every preseason game. And you know what I think we should do? We should do we should have some fun and do a 53 from the audience. You guys make one and I make one. And if I win, I have to do something, and if you win, you have to do something. Like, well, maybe we'll turn it into a bet. I think that'd be kind of fun. But whoever participates, like, y'all have to do it, All right, let's get this loaded up here. Okay. I'm not going to worry about teams as much. I mean, I think we know who's on teams. I'm going to do offense and defense. All right, we should be good now. Take a look at the screen. Let's just roll through it real quick. Okay, so last week we had obviously Jared Goff as our number one. We had 23 overall offensive players on the roster. So Jared, Kyle Allen was my quarterback 2 last week. Well, that remains the same. Hendon Hooker, I think that he's cut right at the moment. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sione Vaki was number 3 to me, and then I had Craig Reynolds making the practice squad. The Lions only keeping 3 running backs. I'm going to change that. I don't know how this is all going to fit yet, but I'm going to change that. I think he's on the roster. Jacob Sailors, he was my number 5. He's still there. He's still there. And these guys are practice squad guys, which, again, this is going to be a deeper dive. Dominic Lovett, unfortunately, that's going to change. But not really unfortunately. That's Jackson Meeks. Dominic Lovett is now practice squad candidate. So let's go through the wide receivers and the quarterbacks first. So Jared Goff, Kyle Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sione Vaki, Craig Reynolds, Isaac Tesla, Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Jackson Meeks, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond. That's right. I've got 6 wide receivers. And see, the problem for me is, one, you can never have enough wide receivers, and we've usually only kept 5, right? We've usually only kept 5. And so real quick on that, Nick P with the ground contact, that shoulder AC joint, so that would have been the right side. It would be his right shoulder then, because the right shoulder is what landed on the ground first. Well, his hips kind of did. I didn't see his shoulder get drilled into the ground. You know what I mean? I did not see that. That's what I didn't see. Even with the tape that I made, I didn't see that. I was more concerned about his left side ribs than I was his right side shoulder, but we'll find out. Left tackle, Taylor Decker, Giovanni Manu, Christian Mahogany. So I'm going to move him. I'm going to move him out. I mean, he's not going anywhere, but Jamarco Jones is definitely left tackle backup. Giovanni Manu is number 3. Christian Mahogany at left guard, Graham Glasgow at center, Tate Ratledge at right guard, Penei Sewell at right tackle, Dan Skipper, immediate backup at right tackle. He's also backup at left tackle, right? He's that swing tackle. Kingsley Egwokin. I thought that he had a good night. And again, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to go ahead and put him on the roster, which means now I've got 25 guys on the roster. Actually, I don't remember which date it was, but I'm just going to do this. 8/15. We're going to do 8/16. Oh, we'll do like 8/12. There we go. But tonight's 8/16. Manu's definitely not a cut. There's no way the Lions are going to give up on that. Not this early. Not in year 2. The Lions have, even though we've had some difficulty with some guys, they have never given up. They've never given up a cut. And so Peter, okay, so do this for me, Peter. Who are you putting in place of Manu, and who are you putting in place of Skipper or Zielstra? Where's my boy? Who? Muty? Yeah, he's not on the list. You can't waste a roster spot. We don't have anybody to put there. Right? Yes, that is common, Carol. They do that after the game. I haven't added all my practice squad guys yet. Like I said, it's a deeper conversation because I have to go through it with the idea of who's played for 2 years, 3 years. You know what I mean? I have to figure that part out. And I also have to figure out who are the guys that would shake hands, with Brad and say, I'll stick around as a vet. I think I know the answer to some of them. Obviously, I think it's some of the guys that we had last year. It's just, I want to do it right. I don't want to just half-ass it. So I'll do that in a video, probably tomorrow. No, I will do it tomorrow. I just got to open up this list real quick. Okay, so looking at the receiver position, like TK85, we know he's always a practice option. And I think now he's a vet. So, I mean, he's someone that can stick around that you don't have to worry about. Right? Dominic Lovett is somebody that you would have to worry about. It's probably how I should color code these. But I'll do that tomorrow. So tight end. So you tell me, Peter Van Larhoven, you tell me who are we going to put in place of Shane Zielstra? I didn't like Shane last year. Right? But we have to have more than 2 tight ends. We can't just have 2 tight ends. We have to have at least 3. At least. And I think after seeing what Jordan Mailata did, I don't think that there's any way possible that Manu would clear any waivers. There's no way. He'll get snaked up immediately. Especially after getting trained up by Hank Fraley. We can only protect 4 guys. Yep, we can protect 4 guys. Yeah, I don't, Peter, that's not happening. There ain't no way. Yeah, it is a rarity, Nick. I'm not saying he's going to become Jordan Mailata. I just said what happened with Jordan Mailata, the way that his career kind of started, very similar to what Manu is going through. And I think Manu has all the tools. He just needs some time. Yeah, it's a very, very, very rare situation with Jordan Mailata. The dude's incredible. But you never would have passed on that size, today, but you would have 10 years ago, right? A lot of Jordan Maiata's got passed up because of where they were coming from. But that size is not available. And that's why guys like Broderick Martin and Giovanni Manu make rosters, because that size is not found. It's just it's a rare athlete. They just need something to click. And I think Manu's close. He's close. He's not in the best situation with the best, line around him either, but his mental mistakes, that's part of the problem, his mental mistakes. See, okay, I'll finish this in a second, but like Todd Budry says, it's really easy to say, cut someone, then figuring out what next. It's a great statement, Todd, because I could just say, we'll cut them all. We'll find who are we going to find? Who's better than what we have now? Who's better than the guy that knows our scheme? Who's better than the guy that knows how we practice? Who's better than the guy that we know gets along with everybody on the team? Though you got all of those other intangibles that you have to answer. And so you don't know who's available. And this is partly why, okay, we complain that Brad, let me take a drink real quick. We complain that Brad does the the 53-man cut slow because we want to know now, right? So why do you think he does it slow? This is a serious question. Why do you think Brad is so slow on putting out the 53? Yeah, Peter, I know what you're saying with that, but that's a totally different situation. Totally different. It's a totally different situation. And I'll speak to that too. So the question is, why do you think Brad is so slow putting out the 53? And I'll come back to it when I see some answers. Some questions or some answers to it. Excuse me. All right, let's move forward. I'm not going to go through all my practice squad guys tonight. The guys in purple are the guys that are on the list. Tight ends. We've got Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Shane Zielstra. Well, we know that Sam Laporta and Brock Wright are a lock. If you're saying that Shane Zielstra is a cut, then I would say that the Lions are going to end up keeping Zach Horton. Right? We've got Kenny Yeboah right now on injured reserve, and I'm not sure when or if he can come back. I can't remember the nature of his injury. Goodness, what happened to him? I thought it happened after the Hall of Fame game. What happened to Kenny? What happened to Kenny? He was looking good too. The point is, if it's not Zielstra, it's Horton. You know, is Horton a better blocker? You know, Horton was used as an H-back more. I saw that tonight and during practice. So there's a possibility. But either way, we're keeping 3. No matter what. And Nick P just hit the nail on the head. The reason why Brad waits on the 53 is because he is trying to see who else is going to get cut. And then at that point, he'll know that if he actually has a shot to get a player that he feels is going to be an upgrade over somebody, those players are decided on last. And he's waiting till the last minute to figure out if he can add somebody. That's my guess, but I'm pretty positive that's why. Right? A lot of these guys are probably already decided upon, and then we need to see what other teams are going to do first. Because some teams just don't care, man. They just start cutting guys and they just move on. Right? I think that Brad is smart at waiting to see what he can do. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those guys alone. So I got Michael Neeson here at the right guard, Tate Ratledge, Kingsley Egwakon at center. I did not see Muty tonight. So someone tell me how Muty played tonight. Did he play tonight? I don't remember seeing him in there. Sell me. Okay, so Netnani Moody, he had 24 snaps in the last preseason game. He had a grade of 52.9. His pass block was a 21.2. Look, I could stand in there and get my ass killed and get a 21.2. Absolutely. So that's why he's not on the roster. Practice squad, maybe. I'm just not there yet. And Frazier's coming back. So here's the thing about the guys coming back. I'm not worried about the guys coming back because, see, that's when you have to make that hard decision. And again, I highlighted a lot of that in the Zadarius Smith video. That's what the Zadarius Smith video is really all about. It's about why the 53-man is so important and why it is so difficult to bring a guy, onto your roster that you need 7 guys potentially on lists right now to come back. And then number 2, some of those guys you don't have to bring back right away. You can kind of layer the return, right? Yeah, when Ali McNeil's ready, you want him back as fast as possible. Absolutely. When Josh Paschal's ready, you probably want him back as fast as possible. But what about Mekhi Wingo and Malcolm Rodriguez? You probably don't need them back as fast as possible, especially if the guys are playing well, right? If they're playing really well, well, he can just hang out an active pup. It doesn't hurt you. And then if you have an injury, well, hey, you start the clock. It's time to go. It's time to go. You know, you got 3 weeks to get back to the team. Or maybe he's already ready and you start the clock and he's back, right? So Frazier's on the list. All these guys are on the list after the season, after the start of the season. The only one that's potentially coming back is Josh Paschal. He's the and Morris Norris. But again, you could probably just wait on Morris Norris, let him get fully healthy. But if Morris Norris is better than Nick Whiteside, then he's coming back. Otherwise, he's probably not, because that room's pretty full too. All right, so let's finish this out. The only changes that I'm really going to make on the offensive line is that I swapped Jamarco Jones and Giovanni Manu. The Kingsley, I think he had a decent game tonight. Decent. And that's why I threw him back in there. Michael Neese, I really don't think we need another backup center. I think we need a backup guard. See, if Graham goes down, I think they're going to put Tate in. I don't think that they're going to put Kingsley in. I think they'll put Tate in there. Maybe. Or maybe they will put Kingsley in. But I think Tate is probably the better option. I really do. Mike P. Who did? Not trying to sell you, but he cocked the defensive end on a rollback pass block. Who did? Lopez still out. Okay, so yeah, the Roy Lopez thing, yeah, he's still out, but he's expected to be back too. He's not on a list that I know of. I don't think he's on it. I'm pretty positive he's not on a list. He's just out. All right, let's get this over with here. Yeah, see, I like the idea too of keeping Rodrigo out for a little bit. Just see how the guys do, man. If they're not doing well, then you can always bring them back. But if you got guys on lists already, that's almost a benefit to your team. One, they don't hinder the 53-man or the practice squad numbers. You have a 90-man cap. So after 69 guys, you got 11 guys that you could have on lists. And of those 11 guys, 8 of them can come back, right? And so I think we're good there. I'm good. It's either a Guquan or it's Nice. It's Nice. I mean, it's one of those two guys that I feel like is probably not going to make this roster. Left guard. I got a hole there. Jamarco Jones played left tackle tonight. Iwasaka played right guard, and they do like Iwasaka. Do they like Iwasaka over Nice? I would say yes. So there we go. Now it's either Iwasaka or Moody in that position. So then the other question becomes, do you keep Kingsley or Guquan? And do you want the extra center right now because you need that insurance policy if you're not considering moving Tate over there this season? Then yeah, you would need another guard versus another center. I'm sorry, you would need a center versus another guard. And we don't have a whole lot of guard backups. We got a lot of tackles. I'm pretty positive Jamarco Jones played guard too, didn't he? I'm almost positive he did. But I'm going to leave it alone. I think that's where I'm at. Nice is down here somewhere right now. All right, so that's it. I'm going to leave my tight ends alone. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 10 is 22, 23, 24, that's 25. So I added 2 guys to the offense, which that means now I have to take 2 guys away from the defense. And that's extremely hard to do. Extremely hard to do. And that's my problem here, because I'd rather put those guys on practice squad if I could and protect them. That's why the video is going to make more sense, because I'm going to be able to put more thought into it. All right, on the defensive side of the football, obviously Aiden Hutchinson's not going anywhere. Slide this over. Aiden Hutchinson's not going anywhere. El-Kadim Muhammad's not going anywhere. DJ Reader's not going anywhere. Roy Lopez is not going anywhere. Broderick Martin right now, he's back here. Miles Adams, he's up here. Nate Lynn, obviously Dan Campbell likes Nate Lynn right now. I really believe that Pat O'Connor, not only is he on this roster, I think that they really like him a lot. When you look at the work that he's done last year and what he did tonight again, I think that Pat O'Connor last season was one of the reasons why our defense played so well. Oh, that's such a great statement in there, Jack. He says, Will, when watching playback of the game, see if you think Hooker was given plays to help him, rollouts, etc. Plays are generally for building confidence type plays. Dude, I think our play calling's been suspect. I feel that way. I think that all this dinking and dunking stuff and out routes, like, why are we trying to throw the 5-yard out route? Seriously, it is the most picked off ball in the league. Why are we trying to throw that football? It doesn't make any sense to me. Get those guys more mobile, man. Get them moving outside the pocket. Jared Goff is the best when he does that little short boot out throw on the 5-yard out route. That little stick, it's a little stick route, whatever you want to call it. It's when he's at his best. And then we haven't been doing that. I'm going to back these guys up a little bit. Okay, so we've got 3 defensive ends there on the left side. We've got 3 on the right side. Now, we don't know what's going on with Ahmed Hassan, but I'm not going to leave him off the roster right now until he's on an injury designation, which hopefully doesn't happen. DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, no surprise there. Tyleik Williams, Pat O'Connor, I don't think there's a surprise there. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Grant Stewart, Zach Cunningham, I don't think there's any surprise there. One surprise that might be coming from me here is, let's see. So Trevor Nowaski is a Sam and a Mike. He's a Sam and a Mike. And I guess it depends on how you label your guys, your defensive ends. Is Isaac Ukwu more defensive end, Mitchell Agudi more defensive end than they are playing as an outside linebacker, as an edge rusher role? You know what I mean? As a pass rusher versus just a defensive end? I would say yes. I would say that both of those guys are more of a pass rusher when we are in our 3-4 look. That's what I think. I don't think they're necessarily defensive ends, if you will, in a 4-3 scheme. I think there needs to be room for one of those guys on this roster somewhere. And that's a tough cut for me. But if I were to cut anybody to bring in Ukwu or Agood, it would probably be Trevor Nowaski, even though I don't like doing that. If I had to choose between bringing in a quarterback or bringing back Darius Smith, what do you do? Well, you can't compare those. You mean for a roster spot? I mean, you can already see there's no roster spots. You can already see that. Okay, so you can get rid of Nate Lynn, you could get rid of Keith Cooper, but the question is, again, I would urge you to watch the video, because if Keith Cooper goes to a practice squad, he's gone. I don't think Nate Lynn has more than 3 years of time in the league. I think this is his second year, I think. Yeah, 2024. This is his second year. He's gone, most likely. And that's what you have to look at. You have to look at it that they're gone. See, the thing about having Zadarius Smith not on a roster is if you already, like we talked about in the video, if you already have a deal in place, he doesn't need to go anywhere. He doesn't need to do anything. He can just continue to train, stay ready, and if and when, or, hopefully not, the Lions suffer too many injuries again, he can come back and play. That's, I think, how you address Zadarius Smith. There's a lot more to it. I would urge you to watch the video. DJ Reed, Terry and Arnold, Amik Robertson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch. Locks, obviously. Rocky Sin, Vontae Maddox. Locks. Tonight, I saw... Eric Hallett. Eric Hallett and Nick Whiteside are going to be going at it. So Eric Hallett is a nickel. He's a safety. He's a corner. He can really do it all. And so Eric Hallett just made an opportunity for himself tonight. Lawrence Strickland and Ian Kennelly. Ian Kennelly, I know he's had a couple of good practices. He hasn't really stuck out enough for me. And I would say right now, if I were the Detroit Lions, and I know they like Lawrence Strickland, and I don't know why he's not listed on this list, but why is he not listed on this list? Lawrence Strickland is absolutely on the roster, according to the Lions. And according to this updated roster, he is not even listed anywhere. He's not injured, right? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put him back here for now. Put him back on the practice squad. Potentially. I think they're going to try to keep Ian Kennelly. But here's the thing. You've got Kirby, you've got Brian as your safeties. You've got Eric Hallett that can play safety. Avonte Maddox can play safety. You're covered, right? You've got 4 safeties, but you got 2 other guys, over here playing other positions too. Rocky Sin can play nickelback, right? Both Rocky Sin and Avonte Maddox. So if it were me, honestly, it would probably look like it would probably do this, which is not what I wanted to do earlier. And I'm just putting them in where I got a hole right now. I would probably put Avonte Maddox here. Morris Norris, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to come back, if or when. But I would probably do this. So now you've got 2 nickels. You got 4 safeties. But really you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 safeties. And then out of these 3 safeties right here, all 3 of those guys play corner. And all 3 of those guys can play nickel. And so then really all you need is another DB1, DB2, DB3 behind DJ Reed and Terry and Arnold. But that's also Rocky Sin and Avonte Maddox. So the Lions, they might be able to go into this season with less DBs than they've carried before. Simply because all of these guys are they're Swiss Army knives, excuse me. All right, so what do I got? 3, 6, 8, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I got 26 on D. So I'm still 2 players over. And I can't, if I did anything with my linebackers, it would be Trevor Nowaski. Roll with 5 linebackers, which I think is a mistake. And if I did anything on the defensive line, it would probably be Nate Lynn or Miles Adams as the odd man out. Unless I drop somebody on the offense. $26, $25, $51, $54. I only need to drop 1 player, don't I? So we got 3, 29, and 25. Yeah, I've only got to drop 1 player. Okay. It just sucks not knowing what's going on with Roy Lopez right now. All right, so I'm just going to call it. I'm going to keep it simple. And Miles Adams, for right now, is on the practice squad. So that's it. So 3, 1, 2, or it's 12. There's 11. That's 23. That's 24. That's 25. So 25 and 25 is 50 plus 3 over on the right side, which is obviously your special teams. Special teams guys over there. Those guys aren't changing. All right? They're not changing. And that's it. That's what I got. That's what I got for tonight. Who said tear? MRI is not till tomorrow, so there's no word on MRI tonight. Did someone say it was a tear? All right. I'm going to sign off for the night. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. And we'll do some deep digging tomorrow. And then we'll also we'll dive into some videos as well. So you guys have a good night. Too bad the Lions couldn't win. It's not all about wins and losses right now. Those are coming. Regular season is almost here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.